What's going on, everybody? Today we're back with another project. Today I've got a Honda Foreman. This is a 1998, and I picked this guy up today, and the seller said that he can try to get it fired up, but it won't stay running, and he's not sure what's wrong with it. He said that he got this thing serviced about a year ago, and it's sat ever since, and he's had issues getting it started back up. So we're going to take a look at this today. But it also came with this carrier for the back, and also he still had the original title. So we're going to try to dig into this thing today. But first, let's go ahead and get this thing unloaded, and we'll get this thing washed up. All right, guys, so we got this thing unloaded. We'll do a quick walk around real fast before we wash this thing off. From what I can tell, this thing is 100% complete. The only thing that's missing is these decals, but I can get replacements for that. But overall, I mean, it's in pretty good shape for the year. Tires are really good, and so I think we got a steal on this thing. But let's go ahead and spray this thing down. We'll get it washed up, and then we'll start digging into this thing. All right, guys, so we got it all washed up now, and it looks a whole lot better. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check this thing for oil and for spark. Like I said, the guy said he got it serviced about a year ago, but I wanna make sure that none leaked out and that the oil still looks fresh. So let's go ahead and hop into that, and then we'll dig into the rest of the problems with this thing. All right, guys, so as you can tell, it does have oil there, and the oil doesn't look super dark, so I think that oil will be good for now. So we'll go ahead and leave that. So now that we know it's got oil, let's go ahead and get it inside. We'll check it for power. That way we can test it for spark. So we got it back inside. Let's go ahead and test this thing for power. So it doesn't look like it has a battery, so we'll hook up a jumper cable to that and we'll go ahead and test this thing. All right, so we got our power hooked up. Let's check this air filter real quick. The guy said it was new, but we're gonna double check before we try to turn this thing over. All right, so as you can tell, it does look fairly new, so we'll leave that like it is. Now let's go ahead and see if we can't start this thing. All right. So we do get a power light, so we know it's getting power. Let's see if it'll turn over. All right, it does spin freely, so let's go ahead and check this thing for spark. All right, there's our spark plug. As you can tell, it's a little black on the tip, so it may have been slightly rich, but we'll go ahead and pop this thing in the spark plug boot and we'll see if it does have spark. So it does have strong spark, so let's pop it back in there and we'll try to start this thing up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and attempt to start this guy since we've got spark, there's oil in it, and we know the air filter's not bad or anything. So I'm just gonna hit it with a little starter fluid just to see if it'll pop over. And if it does, then we'll go ahead and dig through that carb and get that cleaned up well. All right, so it did fire up, so we know that the carb is our issue. So let's go ahead and pop that off. We'll dig into that and we'll get that cleaned up really well. So let's go ahead and pop our air filter off and then we'll dig into our carb. So we got our air box loosened up. We don't have to take it completely out. So let's go ahead and pull this carb off and then we'll dig into that. So there's our carb. We've just got to detach the choke, the throttle cable, and it looks like this is just a vacuum tube, so we can leave that for now. But let's go ahead and pop those two things off. Oh guys, I missed one thing. This is, I think, like a temperature sensor, some kind of sensor, so we need to get that off too. All right guys, there you go. This is our carb. As you can tell by the logo here, this is the original. It's pretty dirty. We'll dig into it and see how gunked up it is inside, but regardless, we're going to put it through the parts cleaner and take a look at everything. So let's do that now. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take this bowl off here. Take a look at the jets. So if you look in the bottom of the bowl there, you can see that there's a lot of gunk built up down to the bottom. So we'll have to get that cleaned up. This is the main jet. I don't know if you could see that, but down in there, there's a piece of something stuck in it. So we'll need to get that out. And let's go ahead and pop the pilot jet out. So the pilot jet, you can see through it, but there's a little bit of debris. We'll need to get that cleaned up too. All right, the float needle looks pretty good. It's not hard on the end, so we should be able to keep that and reuse it. And the float doesn't seem like it has any liquid in it, so we'll keep that as well. All right, I'm probably going to replace those O-rings in there. We'll go ahead and take our needle out of the top here. So that looks good. It doesn't have any rips or tears in it, so we should be able to reuse that just fine. All right, guys, so we got it all broken down now. So we need to go ahead and pop this in the parts cleaner, and we'll go ahead and let that run a cycle, and then we'll go ahead and put this thing back together. All right, guys, so we got all of our carb parts cleaned up well. We'll go ahead and put this back together quickly, and then we'll go ahead and reinstall it on the bike. All right, guys, so we got our carb fully put back together, and we're ready to put it back on the machine. I just wanted to tell you guys that this fuel mixture screw down here, I've got it turned out 2.5 turns for now. If we need to adjust a little more, we'll do that once it's back on the bike. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, guys, so we got our carb put back on there. I haven't attached our air box yet, just because I want to make sure that we don't have to take that carb back off and make any more adjustments. But right now, it seems to be holding fuel. It's not leaking out of the overflow at all like it originally was, so that's a good sign. So let's go ahead and start this thing up and see if she'll run. So I adjusted that idle screw down just a little bit, and this thing seems to be idling and running perfect now. It looks like we need to get a new bulb for this headlight. But other than that, it sounds really good. So we'll go ahead and put this thing back together fully and tune it any more that we need to, and then we'll be able to take this thing for a ride. All right guys, so it's the next day. We've got a little bit of an update. I went ahead and put everything back together, and I went ahead and installed a new battery under the seat, and we also put a new LED light bulb in the top headlight. So we've got this thing pretty much ready to go. I had also ordered some new decals for this thing off of eBay, and it's been a week and the guy never did respond to me and never sent me my stuff, so I don't know what the deal is with that. But the last thing I want to do, I just want to paint this part of the exhaust here, the little cover there. That way, you know, it'll look a little bit more uniform. But other than that, this thing's completely done. So let's go ahead and paint this part, and then we'll go ahead and test drive this thing. So now that we got it off the bike, this is what paint I'll be using. This is just a high temperature ceramic coating. So we'll go ahead and put that on there now. All right guys, so we got it painted. Let's go ahead and reinstall it back on the bike. So now that we got that put back on, let's go ahead and get this thing loaded up, and we will take it over to the land, and I'll let you guys hear how it sounds and how it runs. All right guys, so we finally made it out here to the land. We're gonna go ahead and take this thing for a ride. First thing we're gonna do is do a final walk around. I think this thing turned out really nice. Look guys, we got some friends coming to join us. Hey Dreamer, hey Reba. This one's Dreamer. And we got Reba over here. They're coming to check out the new four-wheeler. What you think, Dreamer? Anyways, let's go ahead and do a cold start on this thing. I haven't ran this in 2 days, and we'll go ahead and check the exhaust. Reba, move up a little bit, girl. So if you see down here, I mean, I've got my hand on the exhaust here. It's not hot at all. And we'll go ahead and fire this thing up. No choke. It idles perfect. There's no smoke, there's no ticking. Honestly, guys, this thing is about as good a shape as it gets for a 1998. But anyways, let's hop on here and we'll take this thing for a full test drive. We'll test out the 4x4 on the hill here. So we'll hop into that. All right, I want to test out the 4-wheel drive real quick. So let's see if we can get up this hill. It's pretty steep. I think it did pretty good. I mean, you can tell it's not a slight incline and it got up there with no trouble at all. So pretty good 4-wheel drive. All right, guys, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. It's pretty hot today. It's about 94 degrees outside, so I'm sweating pretty bad. But overall, this is a great machine, probably one of my favorites that I've owned so far. And I just want to say thank you to the seller who sold me this. You know, there are still some good people out there who are really good to their word and really mean what they say. And, you know, he told me this was a great machine, and I believe him. It has turned out to be an amazing four-wheeler. But if you guys are interested in future content or have any comments about this one or any future ideas, please let me know. Drop that down below, and feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.